Welcome to my channel. For all video updates, subscribe to Dark Whispers and turn on the bell notifications. Now, let's listen to today's story, a mysterious tale that grips the heart. A speeding car suddenly came to a halt with a jolt. She looked worriedly at Alex, who was sitting in the driver's seat, equally distressed. Removing his seatbelt, he stepped out of the car. Of all times, the car had to break down now, she thought anxiously, glancing at the window. On either side of the paved road, dense trees stood tall, their dark silhouettes blending into the night. The distant cries of animals made the eerie atmosphere even more unsettling. "What happened?" she asked as Alex got back into the car. "I don't know. The mobile has no signal, and there's no mechanic around either." His frustration was evident. Now, "What? We can't just sit in the car all night," she said, panic creeping into her voice. Alex understood her fear. "Let's wait a little while. Maybe we'll get a lift. If not, we can walk to that house we passed a while ago and ask for help." She nodded hesitantly and silently prayed for help. After an hour of waiting in vain, Alex sighed. The deserted road remained empty. "Natalie, waiting for help is pointless. Let's lock the car and go to that house. Maybe they'll let us stay for the night." Natalie hesitated but agreed. Holding Alex's hand tightly, she followed him toward the house. They knocked on the door. A man dressed in white, holding a lantern, opened it. His face was emotionless as he listened to Alex explain their situation. "Can we stay here for the night? Our car broke down on our way back from a friend's wedding." The man silently nodded. "Come with me," he said, stepping aside. Natalie felt uneasy. The dimly lit house had an eerie silence. "The lights are out, and my generator is also not working. You'll have to spend the night in the dark," the man said solemnly. "We'll manage. But you haven't told us your name, and is there anyone else in the house?" Alex asked. "Peter. My wife and kids are asleep in their rooms. Here, take this lantern and go upstairs. The guest room is for visitors. You can use it." Taking the lantern, Alex led Natalie up the creaking staircase. "Alex, I'm really scared." "Don't worry, it's just for one night." They reached the room, and Alex unlocked the door. Natalie hesitantly stepped inside, looking around. In the dim light, she could see that the room was oddly clean and well decorated, as if someone had just prepared it for guests. "Strange," she muttered. "What is?" Alex asked, placing the lantern on the table. "This room looks like it was prepared in advance, as if they knew we were coming, and oddly enough, the door wasn't even locked." "Yeah, and Peter didn't ask us anything about ourselves. He just let us stay without hesitation. But never mind. Let's not overthink it. We'll leave as soon as morning comes." Alex smiled, holding out his arms. "By the way, I was going to tell you at home, but you look so beautiful tonight." Natalie giggled. "You mean, despite our ruined plans?" "Well, there's still time," Alex teased, moving closer. Just then, a loud crash startled them. A picture frame had fallen from the wall. Natalie jumped back in fear. "Relax. It's just a frame," Alex said, picking it up. In the lantern's glow, he saw the image, a pale girl holding a bright red heart. The heart was the only colored thing in the black and white picture. A chill ran down his spine. Hastily, he hung the picture back and turned away. "What's wrong, Alex?" Natalie asked, noticing his unease. "Nothing. Let's just sleep." Natalie lay beside him. The night was silent except for the rhythmic ticking of the clock. Then she felt a slight pull on her hair. At first, she thought Alex was playing around. "Alex, stop it!" she giggled. But Alex was sound asleep. Her smile faded. Slowly, she turned around. A sharp yank nearly pulled her head back. Her breath caught in her throat. She wanted to scream, but her voice failed her. "Alex," she managed to whisper weakly. Alex didn't stir. Tears welled in her eyes. She wanted to run, but her body refused to move. Then suddenly it stopped. She gasped for air, looking around in confusion. What had just happened? Alex stirred awake. You were crying in your sleep. Look, you even soaked my shirt. Natalie looked at his damp shirt, still shaken. Why are you smiling? She asked, confused by his expression. Honestly, with your smudged makeup, you look like a ghost. He chuckled. She gasped, playfully shoving him away. I need to wash my face. She grabbed the lantern and hurried to the bathroom. Now, the room was in complete darkness. Alex lay back, covering his eyes with his arm. Then he felt a weight pressing down on his chest. His eyes snapped open. The door creaked open with a jolt. Before he could react, an unseen force dragged him out of the room. Meanwhile, Natalie stood at the sink, washing off her makeup. She turned off the tap and looked into the mirror, and screamed. In the reflection behind her stood a ghostly figure, its face dripping with blood instead of water. Panic-stricken, she bolted out of the bathroom. The room was empty. Alex? Silence. The door was wide open, but Alex was gone. Her heartbeat raced. Where are you? A small girl stood in the hallway, staring at her. Who are you? No answer. Are you Peter's daughter? A deep, unnatural voice replied instead, echoing from the shadows. Terror consumed her. She ran down the stairs. Alex. She found him standing at the bottom, blood trickling from his head. What happened to you? She sobbed. I don't know. Something dragged me down here. Holding her hand, he hurried toward the exit. Then suddenly a pale woman in white appeared before them. Her long hair covered her face. Children's laughter and wailing filled the house. Alex, we won't survive. They'll kill us. Don't. Say that. We have to try. Natalie turned back. The woman was crawling toward them, on all fours. She let out a horrified scream. Alex, hurry! Blood dripped from the ceiling onto their faces. Above them, a corpse hung from the fan. Alex grabbed Natalie's hand and sprinted for the door. The woman lunged at them. A man, holding an axe, ran toward them, screaming. And then both of them looked at the entity with wide eyes. But who can escape? Death? The man threw the axe toward Alex and then, silence. A deadly stillness took over the house. A bright light hit the face, forcing the eyes shut again. Alex heard a mechanical sound. With difficulty, he opened his eyes once more. The light on his face was from the sun. In front of him, at the door, stood two men. Had morning arrived? As soon as Alex came to mind, she looked around in fear. But he was standing right beside her, safe and sound, looking at those men. Who are you people? And how did you get inside? One of the men asked. Alex began. And then he told them everything. Hearing this, the man took a deep breath and looked at both of them. I am Peter, and this is my house, the man said. Alex stared at him in disbelief. This man looked nothing like the Peter from last night. Suddenly, the woman, the man, Peter, and the little girl, none of them were anywhere to be seen. Your house? Alex asked. Yes, this is my house. But because of supernatural occurrences, I neither live here nor can I sell it, Peter replied. Anyway, you both should leave quickly. We have to begin the rituals here. Peter, the owner of the house, turned toward the man standing beside him, who looked like a cleric. That man began reciting something under his breath and stepped inside the house. As soon as he did, a mixture of male and female voices echoed within the house once more. Without wasting another moment, Alex grabbed Natalie's hand and ran toward the door. They didn't dare look back and rushed straight to their car parked by the roadside. Alex quickly sat in the driver's seat and turned the key. The car started immediately. He looked at Natalie, who was staring at him with wide, tired eyes. Even the car breaking down last night now felt like a piece of that horrifying puzzle. Alex took a deep breath and drove away, never to return again. The diary was closed. Natalie placed it on the table and looked at Alex, who was sitting next to their 1-year-old son, Ethan, watching him sleep peacefully. 2 years had passed, but that night still haunted her. The memory of it jolted her awake even now. That one night in the haunted house had been the most terrifying night of her life. "Natalie, what happened?" he asked, gently brushing a strand of hair from her face. "Nothing. Just couldn't sleep," she said, avoiding his gaze. Alex could sense the fear still lurking inside her. He pulled her into his embrace, resting her head against his chest. Slowly, he stroked her back. Her restless eyes finally closed, finding comfort in his presence.